Oh, fuck. So, like, alright. Wait a second. I gotta figure something out. I don't have this correct. This is too much of the couch. That one doesn't ever know what the fuck it's doing. Because it's on a jank ass system. So sometimes it may or may not work. I don't know. I look like a fucking scarecrow. Oh, fuck. On a fucking nebulizer again. Probably gonna be on something else. Who knows? Anyways, I'm bitching. Okay. Good intro. Yay, everybody. Alright, so let's see. One topic is cask, wineskin, bottle, and flask. The other one is just open live. And this one says Mark 2:22. And in the description of one of them, it says Mark, I was not lying. Which is kind of convenient because they could wrap up two conversations in one. Primarily being that although I may be a giant asshole and I may have bipolar disorder and ADHD and come from, like, I don't know, in my opinion, hell. And my best friend Nagi has made it along with me. And between him, cannabis, and the Holy Bible, honestly, I've been able to keep my shit together. I set my boundaries. If you cross my boundaries, well, you're going to have to deal with it. Like you would anybody's. But I am allowed to have boundaries. And so, like, one of my boundaries is like, not allowing myself to be intimidated by others when I seek out questions that I may have that arise from my Bible studies. Now, today happened to be on Mark 2:22 that actually got me today, where I was really having trouble seeing its authenticity as one would expect words that are supposedly those of Jesus that are intended to last the test of time. And so, like, I was really perplexed because, honestly, I kept finding all kinds of errors in the message. And my brain wasn't computing. And I happen to be a very, very wide open person about things. And the problem with it, with why I was having trouble accepting the message, is because the message wasn't translated all the way, or correctly. And it wasn't translated in a manner that was actually applicable today. They translated it, but they changed words, as often one does, because people are too lazy to do their homework. But the problem with the translation is that anybody who had two bolts between their ears, or two brain cells, if you will, would have come to the same conclusion that I did. That the statement as was translated, or as is translated in this particular Bible, does not stand up to the truth of a true translation. And so therefore, the message wasn't received correctly. And the message wasn't true, as it would have been if it were translated to its correctness. And honestly, even back in the times when they were trying to translate it, they were still having a difficult time then, because a unit that held wine generally back then was made out of metal by that time period, and or seal bladder. So some of their translation even they had trouble with, because a cask is also something that would contain wine. And a cask would have been made out of clay or mud or wood. A wineskin usually was made out of a pelt. So there was degrees where a cask and wineskin translation, I could use my imagination and understand how the message was still correct. But when they implemented the word bottle in this particular translation, in this particular Bible, it skewed the message so much that the message itself was not truthful. It wasn't factual. It was actually a convenient lie, if you will, to fulfill the gaps in what they were trying to achieve. And the problem with that is then comes the decrees of Jesus, where Jesus says that they will bring their child against parent or elder family member. And these are reasons why. Because when you have such a out-and-out, bold-faced lie in a translation and you're trying to teach it as truth, a child knows that they cannot fully swallow that. And if they're forced to swallow it, then it creates corruption inside the child. And so, it's a King James Version Bible that I was reading today, and its copyright was 97/98. And I actually had to reach out to a friend of mine when I was down in the food lines today, because I get homeless dinners, or they're actually considered community service meals, excuse me. They're trying to be more politically correct and more inclusive. And while I was down there, I seen him, and sadly the conversation started with, "You got a cigarette I can bum for you?" Which was me asking him. And I shouldn't be smoking because some shit's going on with me. So I shouldn't be smoking. But anyways, I was actually down there to get dinner, but I was talking to some people, talking to other people, and then I seen him. And I mean, I knew I wanted to go and talk to him, but because of all the company involved, you kind of got to get like an open entry invite to sit down with everybody. You know, that's just kind of how it politely and politically goes. So it's kind of like, "Hey, you got a cigarette I can bum?" It opens the conversation up. Instead of, "Hey, you want to read the Bible?" Because we got in trouble for congregating for Bible reading down at the share house. So still working that out. But the sentence I had was from Mark chapter 2, sentence 22. And it says, "And no man putteth new wine into old bottles, else the new wine doth burst the bottle, and the wine is spilled, and the bottles will be marred. But new wine must be put into new bottles." And that was like what was confusing me, because I mean, I've put wine in old bottles before and never seen a bottle break. Didn't always say that it tastes the best when I did that. And that was the thing. Is like when I was talking to my Jewish friend, I said, "Hey, Jew, I got a question for you if I can." And that's generally how it starts. "Hey, Jew, I got a question for you if I can." and I've known him for years. So for years I've called him the Jew. So between him and I, it works. It's kind of a funny thing, if you will. And hold on a second. I'm trying to figure out what I want to eat because I'm freaking hungry. And I've been on the go all day. And I'm just freaking starving. And I don't know what to eat. And I'm missing somebody so bad. Oh, I'm missing somebody so bad right now. It's not even funny. God, I just want to kiss her face. But like all other people in her life, we all become burdens. Oh well. All's well that ends well though, right? But, so I guess I'm gonna just eat this like ginormous fucking steak. You see the size of the steak? This is a huge steak. This thing weighs like 2 pounds. I think I might eat this. I don't know. I'm gonna cook it at least. So we're gonna see how that goes. This might take a while. Fuck, I'm so hungry. This is gonna take so long to cook. What the fuck am I thinking? Alright. So the problem was, is like, I said, hey Jew, I got a question for you. He's like, alright, what do you want? And, you know, he always knows it's going to be a Bible question, because it's generally what we talk about. Unless it's, hey, you want to smoke a bowl of weed, or hey, you got a cigarette, or hey, how was that dinner tonight? So we're always talking about Bible shit. And, I asked him if he would read that sentence for me, because I told him I was having some serious concept glitches with the way that this one is translated, because in other books it's translated differently. And I have seen him say cask before, and a cask is that works. A cask works, okay? And the concept behind why a cask works is because, well, when it's out of wine and the inside of the cask dries out, it'll crack when you put new stuff in it. But so he explained to me that with the bottles, it wasn't so much the bottle, it was the remnants inside the bottle that tainted the new product. And that's why you needed a new bottle. And he gave me some other examples in life to consider when taking in that thought. And they were principles based on various other aspects in life that you could consider that same sentiment too. And so, you know, one of the things was like starting from ground up instead of trying to take something over that somebody else had or somebody else was doing. Sometimes it's time to let one thing go and start another. And so it was, I thought about that, you know, but I was like, it's a horrible translation though. And he's like, yeah, it is, because it doesn't fit what the statement is. And so, I don't know, I wanted to bring this, I hardly doubt anybody's going to watch these videos. And, you know, the funny thing is like, Mark's not lying here. And it was funny because I wasn't lying to my case manager, Mark, either, but he thought it was. And a lot of people think that St. Mark is lying here. But if you use the proper translation, the statement will be factual. People might not still understand the concept because they'll like want to evolve and use glass bottles, but then the statement no longer works. So, you know, even if it was a wood bottle, that would work, but you would want to state that it's a wood bottle. You would want to state like the material that it's made out of, because in today's day and age, we're going to consider that it's a plastic or glass bottle, because that's the concepts behind the definition globally of what a bottle is. So, you know, it was, do you change then the statement that's made? Do you make sure that the statement is correctly translated so that the proper meaning and the evolutionary concepts can be sought from it? And I thought about that, and I've been thinking about that since. And it makes a very powerful and impactful difference. Because the statement of the wine tainting the material was factual with the proper containment that was utilized or visualized in the statement. But when you change the containment to such a universally cleansable material, the statement no longer fits the containment. And so therefore it becomes a lie. And it's an unintentional lie, but it is that such of a lie that it will bother somebody for a very long time. And so I wanted to consider that, you know, because I wanted to make a video today. And for some reason, this was the video that I ended up making. And so it's just one sentence in chapter 2 of St. Mark. But it will lead somebody astray. Like very, very farly astray. And so, I don't know, I wanted to present it in hopes that maybe it can come out with some clarity for those who may choose to end up watching one of these videos to the end. And then to that notion, I don't feel like I have much else to say. And I definitely don't think I got the value of that worth. But, you know, maybe you guys can glean something from me. Maybe there's much more work yet to be done to actually come to clarity with what may have been some massive misrepresentations in an attempt to garner the respect of others as their leaders. And to, as I'm going to say, sadly lead you very questionably astray maybe. And I want to say thanks to my friend David, the Jew, because I was really upset with the way this was translated and the fact that I couldn't get my mind, of all minds, to wrap around how that was supposed to work. So thank you, David, for bringing me back to the essence of the statement and reminding me that it's not always as it seems. And that maybe sometimes the fault isn't that of yours, but that of the presenter. So, adieu.